Okay, go ahead. We are live on Facebook now.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Shiraza Irani and I'm your co-host for the session. I am a biotechnology student and have recently completed my post-graduation in biotechnology from Central University of Kashmir. We are delighted to be here on the third session in line of JK Scientists Inspiring Women series. This series has been initiated to provide a platform to the women who satisfy the definition of success in real by contributing towards the society in one way or the other. In Kashmir, where the unemployment has become a real challenge for the young people in particular, women have started introducing their own entrepreneurial ventures such as boutiques, cafes, and other startups. And social media provides an unending support and plays a prime role to promote and help them excel in their respective fields. Today, we are hosting a success story of our homeland Kashmir who is doing incredibly well in her field. Yes, we are talking of a 20-year-old girl, Sana Imtiyaz Hussaini from Parepura Baghat, Srinagar, who, in the era of doctors and engineers, chose to be an entrepreneur or a baker very specifically. Sana has done her schooling from Presentation Convent Senior Secondary School, Rajbagh, and has pursued a course in baking from Indian Institute of Hotel Management, Srinagar. She is currently running a business of baking cakes all alone by the name of Sweet Temptations by Sana Imtiyaz that has really become a favorite name in the various parts of Kashmir in a very short span of time and has already 10,700 followers on Instagram. Now, knowing a bit about Sana, you all must be curious about the interaction part. Okay, without any further delay, I would like to introduce our host for this session. Sana will be hosted and interviewed by Miss Arusa Ashraf, who by profession is a pharmacologist and is currently pursuing research in Jamia Hamdard, New Delhi. Now, I request you, Arusa, to please go on with your part.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Hi, Sana. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Arusa?
I'm fine. Please tell us about yourself. How did you decide on this journey?
Okay, so after I passed my 12th, I had medical as my subjects in plus two. So I actually wanted to become a doctor. Like my parents really wanted me to become a doctor, and I'd also scored good marks in my physics, chemistry, and biology. So, like after 12th, after the results came out, I came to know that I'm the fourth or fifth person from Srinagar who had scored 99 in biology, because that was at that time, I think there were two people who had scored 100, and then were the 99 people. So there's this thing called a SA quota that actually gives you a free admission in any college in Bangladesh. And having scored good marks, it was obvious that I actually knew that I would be selected, because they all only select people from Kashmir. So already knowing that they'll select 20 people, and I being like I had topped it and I was at the sixth place, so I knew that probably I'll be selected. But once the list came out, I saw that my name was not there, and people who had a lesser merit than mine, they got selected and their name was there. So we tried our level best. I mean, we went to Bangladesh embassy in New Delhi. We tried everything possible, but there was some forgery that had taken place that time, and merit wasn't even counted. Those who had given them money, they were taken, and people who had scored good, they were left behind. So that was a little bit shocking for me. And at that point of time, like when the list came out, between that phase from 12th to the point when list was out, I decided to join a 1 week course in hotel management in Srinagar only. So I went there. I was interested in baking. I remember myself watching all Sanjeev Kapoor's show. In cooking also, I was quite interested. So I always used to jot down the recipes and try all the new recipes at home. And since childhood, I was quite passionate about it. But I never knew that this is something that one can make one can make it a career option. So that is when, and also my parents were government employees. Nobody in our family is into business. So I never thought, honestly, I had never thought of taking baking as a career option, or doing like making baking cakes for people, designer cakes, or everything which I do right now. So I never knew that I could ever be able to you know do all these designings. Later, after I did a course from IHM, I opened a bakery page, and I remember I got my first order from my friend. She knew I was doing a course in IHM, so she just gave me an order कि हमें कहीं से मिल नहीं रहा है, so Sana, can you bake us a cake? So that was my first order. It's still on my Instagram page, like the number one post 4 years back. And then that's how it happened. Actually, eventually I got orders from family, from friends, and I could see them appreciating my work, and that's what kept me going. And later because I wasn't sure, even then I wasn't sure that I would stay in Kashmir and do something in baking only. And I thought that I would join a college outside, and I got my admission done in Miranda House in Delhi University. I was there for about 6 to 7 months, but I think that is where I realized that the BSCs, I was doing BSc in zoology honors. So that is where I realized that this is not meant for me, and that I should come back to Kashmir and I should start with bakery. And I was also quite homesick. I'm quite attached to my family, but I'm also very homesick when it comes to staying outside Kashmir. So I came back. I convinced my family somehow. I told them that I'm not able to cope up there with everything that was going around in Delhi, and I wasn't really happy and satisfied with the course I was doing. So I came back, and my mother suggested me that I was quite depressed. I remember I was really depressed I had because after my 12th I dropped 2 years, and I had never imagined that I would ever drop years after 12th. So I was stressed about it. I was very stressed. So that is when my mother told me that maybe now, until you join college in Kashmir, just go for a course in Delhi and maybe enhance your skills, because even then I was doing good in baking, but the designing part, it was not very good, and even now I feel it's not up to the mark. There's a lot I still need to learn. So I went to CCDS, that's a cake decoration school in Okla, and I was there for I did a course for 25 days. That was a very small course, but it was helpful. It did enhance my skills. And then I came back, and then I started from the scratch again, like after a year. It was a proper year ka gap, and then I started again from a scratch. And that happened in 2019. So right now it's 2021, and this is how it happened. And then I joined hotel management for my BSc course, and right now I'm also pursuing my graduation from hotel management, and also continuing with baking.
That's really, really great. So how was your parents and relatives' reaction when you actually announced, you will be shifting in your career?
My parents, like I said, that they both were government employees. Like my mother is still working. My father retired recently as a vice president in JK Bank, and for both of them, coming from a background where everybody around is doctor or engineer, your cousins are, nobody in your family is into business. It was difficult, and honestly, I never had to convince them properly. But like I said, that as I got my first order from my friend, they said, okay, you idle right now, just take the order. I used to ask them that ऐसे order aa raha hai, shall I take it? And they, once I used to get permission from my father, so I used to start taking orders, and that was in 2017. So later, when I had to come back from Miranda, that is where I had to convince them. I never had to convince them for opening a page or something, but yeah, that was a point when I had to come back to Kashmir from Miranda, knowing the fact that Miranda is like number one college in India right now, and
Mhm.
leaving that college and coming back to Kashmir for baking, that was, for them as well, it was a shock. Because from my childhood, I used to tell them that I'll do something outside Kashmir, or I'll continue my graduation outside Kashmir, but I couldn't adjust there, and I had to come back. And And I had to convince them for sure, and it took me a lot of time, more than 3 months, to convince them. Even I remember my mother used to come to Delhi, and she used to stay with me. She thought maybe I would get adjusted, if she's around, but that didn't happen. Eventually, whenever she used to go, I couldn't stay there alone, and um, eventually I had to come back, and eventually they got convinced as well. And about the relatives, yeah, it was shocking for them. I think to my parents also, there was a pressure from the relative side as well. Maybe they would have agreed at certain point, but then, knowing about the society and knowing about the pressure, that the societal pressure is always there, and it does affect your parents thinking as well. So yeah, it was difficult, but then I think this thing has happened 2 years back or 3 years back, so now it is quite good. But that time it was difficult. I don't know how it all happened and how things went back into track. But Alhamdulillah, right now after 3 years, everything is fine. People around, nobody complains. Maybe starting may they would complain, but now, knowing the fact that I am already into it from years now, there's no such thing happening around me right now.
All right. So tell us about these challenges that you faced in community, particularly when you started.
Yeah, the challenges were the same. Like when I had to leave Miranda, everybody used to tell me that, leaving Miranda is not a good option for you. Miranda is number one college, and, doing something in baking, that won't make your career. And I used to hear this. I used to hear this every time and every now and then. Like whosoever used to come to my place, and, if somebody comes to know, like, I left Miranda and something of this sort, everybody, लोगों का तो काम है बोलना, everybody around would have said a lot of things, and it did affect me for a brief period of time. But then, because I knew that I was happy in baking, and it used to make me feel better, so I thought maybe that I should only think about myself and my family, and if my parents have agreed, whatever the society says, I never paid, I never thought about it later then.
Mhm. So you started your journey in your family's kitchen, right?
Right.
So do you still bake there, or you have built a different kitchen for yourself?
No, I converted my garage into a kitchen. Right now, I have a kitchen outside my home only. So, though we have a proper opening and closing times there, but I don't bake in my home kitchen, because right now I also have workers. So, baking in my home kitchen, I think I did it for 2 years, and then eventually I shifted to my garage, and that's where I have set up a proper kitchen with proper baking utensils and everything.
That's great. So you told us about the courses. So you only did these two courses, like one in Okla and another in Srinagar. Only these two.
Yeah. Yeah, and one was for a week, and another, the Okla one, was for 20 to 25 days.
That's great. So when you started, what was your primary mode of advertisement?
Primary mode, I started an Instagram page and Facebook page. That is how I started it. Like I think right now, Instagram, Facebook, social media plays a very, very important role. You came to know about me through social media. I came to know about your posts, or any of my customers. It's everything through everything I do, or every order I take is only through social media. So my starting of the advertisement happened through Instagram and Facebook only.
Yeah, true. Can't emphasize less on the social media, the power of social media, right? So how many orders did you get in the first year of starting the Sweet Temptations?
Not many. I think I used to get, I think in a week, I used to get 3 to 4 orders, or maybe 1 to 2 orders. Like there was no proper this, because when I started at that point of time, even there were no home bakers. I remember two or three of them who were doing business from home, but social media, people were not that active on Instagram as well. Now things have really changed after 4 years. You'll see a lot of home bakers, they're doing, everybody from Kashmir, every home baker, every other home baker from Kashmir, everybody is doing so great. And I genuinely, whenever I get to see any of their pictures, I feel so good and I feel so proud that Kashmir has, such great home bakers and such great entrepreneurs coming up.
Indeed. So, tell us about the orders that you take, and how have you done any new additions to your products lately?
Lately, yes. When I started, I remember there was nobody who was doing cupcakes here, so I was the first one to start cupcakes, and then eventually, because I follow a lot of bakers who are from other parts of India, so that their work inspires me a lot, and whenever I see something new coming up, I always think of taking the challenge and making something different here, and that's how I started. Once I started with cupcakes, then it came to cake sickles. Then right now, recently, I've introduced pinata cakes, which comes with a hammer. You use a hammer, you break the cake shell, which is actually a chocolate, and then inside you have the cake. And also glitter cakes. Right now I'm also doing glitter cakes, and those are edible glitter cakes. So yeah, these are few new variety which I think right now in Kashmir, um, it's not very common, but yeah, home bakers definitely are doing good in this. I mean, I've seen a lot of home bakers who have also introduced pinata cakes and glitter cakes.
Sounds interesting. I would be ordering cupcakes soon.
And sure.
Let's talk about the ingredients that you use. Do you find them easily here, like in Kashmir?
If it's about raw materials, then yes, raw materials are easily available. But when it comes to packaging, because I have a different packaging, like all my customers know how I pack my orders. So those ribbons I use, or those are some cute little items I usually like to put, or usually like to wrap my cakes with those. So those things I don't get from here, and I usually order them from an online store on Instagram. And then I also visit Delhi like twice in a year to buy these ingredients, not the raw materials, but the items like the cake toppers. They're very common right now, or the hammers. You don't get things here in Kashmir, not at all. It's just the raw materials that you get from here, but the boxes, the packaging, or the cake toppers, or all these um, fancy items that I use on cakes, those are all from outside state.
That's amazing. So you started this venture single-handedly. Have you employed more people ever since?
Yes. I right now I do have workers, because eventually in COVID only I've started having workers. Like once COVID started in March, and I had workers. I have my workers from, I think, from June, July. Yeah. So, yes. So, because eventually I had to keep workers, it was not possible for me to do everything single handedly. It's not just about discussing a cake with a customer, but also giving them your time, then also managing on deliveries, then baking, then creaming, then designing. It's a whole lot of work. I mean, it was not possible for me to do it all alone.
Mhm. Okay. So, how was your business affected by the post-lockdown, August lockdown? And had you taken any orders by then or before that?
Before August lockdown, yes, I used to take orders. I had started my page in 2017. So before lockdown, yes. But as you said about affecting my business, when it was August, I actually built the kitchen that I've made outside my home. That got completed exactly in August, and that after 3 or 4 days, the lockdown started. So I was already on a small break, because my kitchen was still under renovation, and everything was still going on there. So yeah, it I remember, like, once the lockdown started, of course, because all my work is on social media and it's dependent on social media, I didn't take any orders at all, because I wouldn't get any orders, because there were no phone calls. There was nothing. Everything around was banned, so there was nothing I could get orders through. And it it was same. I think it was same till December, or maybe once they started landline. I remember a customer calling me, but that time I also had my college. So I concentrated, since I've joined my college, I am actually working on both. Like it's college or cakes, it's college or baking. So at that time it was college, and I concentrated more on college because I was anyway not getting orders, and anyway everything was shut, but my college was open. So I used to go to college only, and that till February, I think, till the time Wi-Fi started working, there was orders were still less, because people probably would obviously buy from a physical store which used to be open, and it was difficult for them to communicate with me because there was no source, and they couldn't, because this is my home kitchen, they couldn't really come to my place to place an order. So yeah, it did get affected, and I don't remember getting any order for, I think, till February, maybe one order a week or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So, how much did your business get affected by COVID-19 lockdown?
I think in COVID, honestly, I think I enhanced my skills, because I didn't have to go to college, and my college was shut, so I could concentrate more on baking. And I also saw this thing that people also wanted to take orders from home bakers, probably knowing that because when at the start of COVID, I didn't have workers, so I was working alone, and for them it was more safe to take cakes from a home baker, because we had lesser connections, we didn't have any worker here, and we used to take a lot of precautions. And since my family was also very scared of COVID, and I personally was very very still am scared, so we used to take a lot of precautions. So what I felt that time was that people preferred home bakers. Like, this is what I felt, because my sweet temptations got its name in COVID, because I think I tried to enhance my skills, I tried to work more on my skills, because I had proper time, I had like good time to work on everything. And that is when, COVID was something wherein the internet was also working, and there was lockdown also. So because I had internet, I could focus on cake decoration. Maybe if in August internet would have been working, so I might have been able to focus on cake decoration, because internet is what helps me in decorating. I mean, I take a lot of um I YouTube is like, I always watch good videos on YouTube, like related to bakery, and that really helps me, and that really enhances my skills as well. So COVID has been good for me in that way.
Sounds really great. So, since you employ people and are yourself dealing with the public, what are the precautions that you follow?
Precautions as in,
Like because of COVID, since it's again like the second wave is coming. So, what are the precautions like delivering your orders and things like that?
yeah, so as I said, like, in the start, I remember that we were not taking orders for a long period of time, till we knew that things got settled here. Like, once the first lockdown was over, that is when I started taking orders. And since then we were quite scared. Right now it's still not that scary, and people around are we are trying our best to take the precautions, but that time it was like more, we were really scared. Whatever ingredients I used to buy, I used to literally wash them properly, and that is how it was back then. Right now it's still better. And about the precautions, yes, we I always tell my, because whenever a customer comes, my one of my workers, they, maybe some of them can go out and give the order to the customer, so I always ask them to wear a mask properly, and that is what I make sure of, that they always wearing a mask. And also while working, we always try that everybody around is wearing a mask.
Mhm. So, what is your opinion about the job market in Kashmir, and what message would you give to the youngsters out there?
The job market, I think, like, I would say that recently I was looking for a girl who could come to my bakery and could help me with things. And I gave an ad on some Instagram page, and I remember getting more than 50 to 70 calls. And literally, that is when because when I was looking for a girl, I used to ask my father, Ki, can you please see with this person or with that person if we can get somebody, because I never knew that uh, somebody would be interested in coming to my place and helping me out. But that is when I came to know that people are there. The jobs in Kashmir are so limited, and people are ready to do anything to get a job. And I literally had to go through their resumes, and I never thought that I would do that just to get somebody at my home for work. And I never thought I would have to go through their resumes. But that is when I thought that the job in Kashmir, and it is very difficult. And I think right now this is why we have a lot of entrepreneurs coming out, because in Kashmir the jobs are definitely very limited. And I think entrepreneurs are doing good, and they're doing really great. And I would and about the youngsters, I would want everybody to follow their dreams, but also their parents to be very supportive. And the main message would be for the parents, because I know that there's a lot everybody wants to do, but then it's just the parents pressure or the society ka pressure which jo unko rokta hai. And I really want them to be confident, and to just follow their dreams and get support from family, and then do everything which whatever they want to do and whatever they're passionate about.
Yeah, right. So, are you planning on conducting any baking courses in future?
Um, I have conducted a baking course in IHM only. I remember once I had taken a fondant class there. Right now, I'm not thinking of taking baking classes, because I already have a very small space. And even if I want to take baking classes, I need a proper space, and I need a proper separate tables for them, because I know when I learned, I was assigned a proper separate table, wherein I had these ingredients lined up. I had my own weighing machine, I had my own stand mixer. So I just want that even before taking any classes, I want a proper studio or proper place wherein I can take classes, and I can concentrate on everybody individually. Because I know that even if I take a few people right now, I know that I won't be able to give my 100%.
Right. So, how do you manage studies with baking? I mean, I think right now it's like online classes and
Yeah.
like that. So, if there would be like colleges reopening, then how would you manage like doing both
That
things?
is that is honestly a question for me as well, because I never got a chance to manage both. As I said, when it was August, when I remember last year in 2019 I've joined college. So it was August, and then about the scenario, and that is when my college was open, so I could concentrate on my studies. And then from February, March, COVID started. And then since the COVID started, I could concentrate on baking. And because, as you said, there was no college, and we had only online classes. And still now it's going the same. So yeah, so I never got a chance to balance both, and I honestly have no idea how I'm gonna do that, because I remember my customers will literally, they'll break me into pieces if I'm not available for baking cake for them, because everybody has now become so attached. It's not just about cakes. Once you serve your customers, and there's a relationship you build with the customer. And I there are a lot of customers who have now become a family, and who are now become a friend to, they're literally friends to me right now. So yeah, so at times when I'm not available, like I had my exams in December. So it was online though, but I didn't take orders for 20 days. because I knew that, it was not it was impossible for me to handle both. It's humanly impossible, and I also don't want my studies to suffer. So I just want to balance between both. So that is how I do it. I usually, if I know that my exam is coming up, and also I don't give confirmation to any order a month prior. Like, I get orders and people usually tell me that अगले महीने बर्थडे है, इस डेट पे है, सो आई टेल देम कि अभी मैं कोई कंफर्मेशन नहीं दे सकती हूँ, आप मुझे एक हफ्ता पहले मैसेज करें. द रीजन इज बिकॉज आई डोंट नो अबाउट माई कॉलेज एंड आई डोंट नो हाउ थिंग्स वुड टर्न अप till that time. Maybe मेरा कोई exam हो, maybe there's an assignment I have to submit. So at times this is how I try to balance between both. I don't give any confirmation, and then once I know that my exam is approaching or these are the dates, maybe sites I would stop taking orders only, so that उनके लिए भी inconvenient ना हो कि मैंने कोई confirmation दिया था, and I am also able to concentrate on my studies.
Yeah, great. Let's hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any final message to the women out there?
So the final message would be that I think every woman should be confident, and everybody should follow their dreams. I mean, get support of your family, because that is very important, because once I had the support, I could. There are times when I can have problems as well. Everything is not smooth for me. Every day is not smooth, and I can have problems, and I need somebody to share it with. And I always tell my family, whenever a customer gets upset, because of course I cannot make everybody around me happy. So I do share a lot of things with my family. And, knowing the fact that I have their support, it is very, very important, because having a family support is the most important thing before starting any venture, before starting any business. And right now also, like my father, he is helping me a lot. He is literally my backbone right now. Without him, it wasn't possible for me to do anything, because he handles my accounts, he checks on the deliveries as well at times, and there's a lot he does. And to all the women, I would just want to say that follow your dreams, follow your passion, and just be confident, and inshallah Allah will definitely help you, like he did with me. I wasn't selected, but then he had better plans for me. And everything will be fine, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Sana.
You're
So now would be switching to Shiraza. If she has any questions from Facebook Live. Shiraza,
Okay,
you there?
now it's time to pay wholehearted thanks to all those who are connected and listening to us right from the starting of the session very patiently. Sana, I also want to congratulate you for doing what you can do best. I remember there was a collaboration between you and Sparks Creativity Club, I guess in July 2019. I was
welcome.
also a part of the day, and honestly, I was surprised to see like how one could put the passion into making the organization theme onto the cake so perfectly and amazingly. And honestly, it tasted very good.
Thank,
So I wish you all the luck for future endeavors.
thank you so
I
much.
don't think there are much questions to ask, but yeah, there is someone, Said Basit Masoodi. He's asking that I'm allergic to eggs and have never ate bakery. Do try to solve. So,
Yeah, I we do eggless cakes as well. There are a lot of customers who, a lot of people don't eat eggs, so we do eggless cakes for them. And there are a lot of people who are allergic to eggs, and my sister is also allergic to egg. So I always prefer baking a cake for her which doesn't have eggs at all.
okay. Now I don't think there are questions anymore. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, and keep spreading positive vibes and all the luck for your future.
Thank you,
So,
Shiraza.
Arusa, you can conclude the session now.
Thank you so much, Sana. And thank you everybody who joined us in this Zoom meeting. Thank you so much.